Wabba hello guys and welcome back to another Doctor Who episode review. This one will probably be a lot faster than any episode of reviews before this, just purely because there's not that much to talk about. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Before I do start, just remember there will be some, obviously, spoilers in this review. So the episode opens with some really bad CGI of a NASA base. It was okay, but it wasn't the best CGI. To be fair, Doctor Who in recent years has had some pretty bad CGI. But then I love the fact that like Bill and Nardole, they're on about like Mars and things like that. I'm like, oh, is this Neil Armstrong? The Doctor's like, not quite the first man on the moon. So I do like the fact that it was adding that bit of element of history and a bit of science into it from Bill, for Bill, I mean. And then obviously they discover the God Save the Queen on Mars, and then we jump to the titles. Obviously, this is when we see the Doctor then land and go to the Mars in 1881, I believe it was, which I thought was actually pretty cool that they could do that. It's a new concept, I suppose. It's something they've never really done before. So I thought that was rather interesting. Then I got really confused because they're on Mars, right? And they come out in these spacesuits. Now, I thought that the TARDIS would be able to protect them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the TARDIS connect some sort of force field around them that helps them breathe? Or something like that. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but if it is, then let me know. But yeah. Then Bill and the Doctor are separated because Bill falls down the thing, which it's a bit, it's a bit weird, but it kind of there's always that element in Doctor Who where they're separated, and you've got to have that in a Doctor Who episode. So I did like that. But then I thought it was interesting that the TARDIS then left the Doctor with Nardole. So Bill and the Doctor, they are separated. They're on two different places on Mars. The Doctor's being confronted by an ice warrior, and Bill's about to be confronted by a man. Well, you don't know what it is. It's a bit creepy. There's some music, but overall, very cool. Obviously, then we see that the Nardole's in the TARDIS, and I thought it was really strange. I was like, oh no, he's gone to the vault to get help. Like, he's gone to the vault to get help. Why? He doesn't need to go to the vault to get help. But I found it cool that there was this whole historic thing of humans, Victorian humans, are then mining on Mars, which I thought was cool. And I just find it awesome when they finally discover the Queen's tomb, obviously, the Queen of the Cybermen, which is awesome. It's awesome being able to see this brand new queen, but they just think it's a tomb with like a sarcophagus or something. It's not till later when you actually see that it's actually this creature is on top, not inside. So it was a bit of a waste of material, really, wasn't it? Anyway, so the Doctor's having a conversation with all these people on Mars, and then there's just like, Mars is a part of the British Empire now. And I find that so hilarious that the British soldiers thought that it was funny that they now owned, what's it called? That they now owned Mars as part of the colonies and empire. And then you've got, what was he called? I can't remember. Yeah, he had a strange name anyway. And he tries to steal like parts of the Queen's tomb. So you see him and he pulls off this... He pulls off this gem and he's like, oh yeah, and then you just see the Ice Warrior Queen grab him from behind, and I thought that was so cool. And the way this Queen acts, the way she just walks and her stance and the way she's ordering people about, it really made me see that she was the Queen and she was king. Like, she ruled these people. Especially just the way she walks, it was very Queen-like, I suppose, Empress-like. It was very... it was smart, easy. And then what I thought was awesome and it puzzled me, but it was awesome. The Doctor, they shoot the Doctor with and with a gun. Well, they don't shoot a Doctor, but they shoot a soldier with a gun on their arm. Since when did Ice Warriors have a gun on their arm? Like in Cold War, they never used guns, so I thought that was funny. But I do find it funny that the British Army called him Friday. They called the Ice Warrior Friday. Out of everything they could have called him, Friday. Just makes Rebecca Black go ballistic, doesn't it? And I just find it so hilarious that she calls humans, well, these British soldiers, pink people. Like, it's not often that aliens are racist to like humans. And when they call them pink people, it's quite funny, especially when they're calling them overgrown, upright crocodiles or something like that. But I thought Bill's scenes in this episode were amazing. The fact that the Queen asked for Bill's opinion because they were surrounded by men. And it really stood out for that women power kind of that stance, and that women should have power, women have rights and things like that, which obviously I'm all for. Women should have power. Women, women are strong. They're capable of doing this exact same things as men, but men just don't see that. So I thought it was really cool that the Queen asked Bill's opinion rather than the Doctor's. I believe the Queen's called Alexa. I'm pretty sure she's called that, but as soon as I said it, I just thought of the bloody Amazon Echo thing. So, yeah. But then they pulled the guns on her, and then you could just see the Doctor's like, oh no, this is going to go wrong. But I love the way the Ice Warriors kill you. I think it's really cool, and I really want a toy of it. Just because of how cool it is. They get shot, and you basically get melted and twisted into a rubber toy. How cool is that? Like, that is pretty cool. Obviously, this is all going to be this is going to make the Doctor angry. You could see the Doctor getting angry. He gets angry. He absolutely gets angry at the humans. He has a right go at him. And then the Doctor, Bill, and the ex-colonel, who apparently is a deserter, gets put in jail. They're locked behind the door. And obviously the Queen then, she's like, Ice Warriors rise. She wants all her Ice Warriors to rise. And obviously at that point I was like, what am I supposed to, like, okay, this is good. And then I knew, I was just thinking, the Doctor can't get out of there because the Sonic don't work on wood unless it's been upgraded. And then his next line is, damn it, doesn't work on wood. Why is there never an application for wood? Which I thought was amazing, that the fact that the Sonic still doesn't work on wood. It was a nice callback to Matt Smith's era, was that little line. So obviously then Bill starts questioning the commander, and she's like, is it true? Did you actually did you actually do that? And then he's like, well, who are you? And she's like, we're police. And he laughs at the fact that there's a woman in the police force. And obviously they've got that strong political kind of women with power kind of stance again in this episode. You've got it with the Queen. And I suppose the fact that the episode is about the Empress of Mars and this female Ice Warrior, and that's what the episode's about. I'm glad that they kind of picked up on this whole women with power thing, and the fact that they used it, and especially with the modern context it's in, it really did make it stand out, and it made it such a strong episode. It was very political, I suppose, the way they said it, but it was definitely still a good episode, and a good way that they brought that up. And obviously, you've got all the soldiers preparing to go to war, and the Ice Warriors come from the ground. And I love the way they come out of the ground. It's like that classic kind of zombie horror film where the hand rises from the grave and the zombie crawls out. Thought that was awesome. Obviously, then you've got this whole war starting. They start shooting each other. The Ice Warriors are shooting each other. All the Ice Warrior tombs light up, and you see how many warriors she actually has, which I thought was awesome, that there's this many Ice Warriors that look like this. I am a bit confused as to when this episode's set, because there are, I will talk about later on, where there are actually mentions, and the way the Doctor talks about things, it kind of makes you think back to older episodes of Doctor Who. But it must be before Cold War, but after like the Seventh Doctor, whenever they were last in before Cold War, because it's clearly the new Ice Warriors. So how long, like, this is Mars in 1881, so how was there only, so it must mean that something happened after the Cold War, after Cold War episode, after the episode Cold War. There must have been something that happened after that in Mars, but he said that he was the last of the Ice Warriors, so I'm a bit confused as to how that happened. Anyway, obviously, I found it so funny that that Castlov, or whatever he's called, who accused the old colonel of being a deserter, then just disappears and deserts whilst he's leaving his soldiers fighting. You know, bit of an hypocrite. Obviously, Bill's like, you know, you don't have to do this. You know, we don't have to do this. Obviously, Bill keeps mentioning throughout this whole episode, like, films to the Doctor, like, oh, you should watch it, it's good, because she's a geek. You know, you can tell that Bill's a geek. And then the Doctor's like, oh yeah, I'll lock you under it. I'm pretty sure the Mars North Pole's above here. I'll lock you under ice, and they're like frozen. And he just turns to Bill and he's like, "It's a film. You should watch it." And I just thought that were really funny. That out of all the films the Doctor could have actually mentioned that he'd seen, it's Frozen. So that's really cool. But then it got me thinking that if the Doctor freezes the Ice Warriors under in Mars, does that kind of set up a Seventh Doctor story? You know, because when we first see the Ice Warriors in the Seventh Doctor episode, you know, they are in a catacomb of ice on Mars. Yet the setting was rather warm, so it must mean they was in quite a cold part of Mars in that Seventh Doctor episode. Not sure whereabouts. Anyway, so then you've got Castlov, and he kidnaps the Queen, and the ex-colonel just comes with a gun, shoots him from behind, and basically saves the Queen. And, you know, the ex-colonel then he's just like, he takes back control, and he's like, no, you know, kill me, I deserve to die for everything I did, I deserted my people. And the Queen's like, no. Queen's like, okay, yeah, you can die, but not today. You'll die in battle like a true warrior, like a true soldier. I thought that was really cool, and the fact that they kind of had that in there. Doctor knew, but the Doctor knew all along what had happened, because, you know, the Doctor always does. And then there's an hexagonal screen, and I thought it was really cool that there was this hexagonal screen, because they have this kind of, I don't know what, it's just like some hexagonal screen, like the TARDIS, I suppose, like the TARDIS wall has. And obviously, the Doctor sends that transmission, and an old Doctor Who alien answers it. I forgot the name of the alien, something Castella or something like that. I can't remember, but I know it was the same actress that played her, and she's 95 years old, so that was really cool that they brought her back for that. But I'm pretty sure we saw some versions of these aliens in Sarah Jane Adventures at some point. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw that. Anyway, so I thought that, you know, maybe if these people are left on Mars, does it mean that in current Doctor Who time, like in 2017, that there are people on Mars? But it's impossible unless humans found a way to breed with female Ice Warriors. But I love the fact that these Ice Warriors are actually ruled by a woman, and they follow a woman. And I just find it very political, but very strong, that the fact that she can lead this army into war, and she has good tactics. And then the Doctor does mention something about when he was there before, which I thought was really cool, but it's only a bit of a, it's a quick kind of line mention, bit of an Easter egg in there. And obviously, the Doctor returns in the TARDIS with Missy. And the Doctor's like, oh no, what's going on? And we just cut to the credits. Obviously, the next time trailer, there are Romans in Scotland. And apparently, they're actually tackling an actual real-life, ancient, mythical story next week. It's called The Eaters of Light, so I'm wondering what it's about. I'm guessing it's something to do with eating light, something like that, something to do with darkness ascending. And I'm not sure, at the end of the trailer, we see some kind of tentacles kind of pop out. And I wasn't sure whether it was because it was a new monster or because it's the Tesselector. Now, not the Tesselector itself, but do you remember inside the Tesselector there were those robots? And if you didn't identify yourself, they'd kill you, basically. I just thought that maybe there was a possibility that they were the same monsters, but I'm not sure. But that's all I really picked up that was worth talking about from this week's episode of Doctor Who and from the Next Time trailer. So if you like this review, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what your thoughts on the episode before. I always read your comments and I do like hearing your thoughts. I've been the Doc 11th. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time for another episode review when I review The Eaters of Light. Goodbye for now, guys. Goodbye.